shoulder. I'm kidding.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Terry, holding your space, and this is Jason.
Hello, everybody.
We are streaming to both channels today, so if you would please go like and subscribe to both channels. um, so we were having an interesting conversation backstage about protection and things that might attach to us. Which is pretty interesting, I think, for this time. Um, there's just not something I would normally, and nothing that we really wanted to talk about. But yeah, and I'll go ahead and star people too while we're talking, if you want readings today. But so I just thought we'd kind of hit on that. Hey, Wiki, how are you doing? Sherry Z, Jeff is here. Tarot Ask Backwards. Hi, Annie Bear. And Lakia. Hi, Lakia. I love her name. It's so beautiful. So anyway, yeah, it's really quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's we were just talking about how, at least for me and what I do with the hypnosis, it's I hear things and that's going on, and I don't pay much attention to it, and then things just fall in my lap in terms of sessions, and apparently darkness is what we need to be aware of during this time, in different forms and shapes and everything like that. I know you said you're not one that believes in darkness, or...
Well, I have an interesting thought on darkness because I mean, there's the classic Rumi, darkness is the hole, the light comes through. And I feel like darkness and light go hand in hand, and it's that centerpiece of neutrality where Brahman or the super consciousness is. But I do feel like as things get lighter and as things start to change, that we are seeing more entities coming in and trying to clean them out, and they're probably going to fight us on it.
I mean, it's interesting because I've talked about before that I don't like giving too much attention to the darkness.
Right? Yeah.
Because attention is creation, and I know just on my experiences and knowledge that demonic forces are largely man-made, through belief and fear. But then it's been my understanding there are kind of lower vibrational energies like elementals that do exist and often are perceived as demonic. But again, I don't like giving that attention because I know where we put our attention is.
Yeah, we're creators. And we are part of the creator, and we are creators, and we are creating that energy then if we but being aware of it is a different order, right? And I do feel like like I've seen things when I've done remote views or gone into the energy of like the war in Ukraine, and I can see the smoke there, and that smoke is definitely a dark force that comes in like a charcoal. I was having a talk about this with another reader recently, and we both see that dark smoke around certain areas and certain people sometimes, or certain functions, even like where a big group of people will congregate, and they're not nefarious, but perhaps there's a nefarious entity in there, or energy that's trying to work their way in and wind people up.
Yeah, I think I did have a session a while ago where that topic did come up, and it was because it was a client who really wasn't sure what he was experiencing. It was a case of where his all abilities were being flipped on almost overnight, and he thought he was having demonic visions and dreams and everything else, and he thought he was in hell. And he was actually a very spiritual person, so it was of many things kind of disturbing to him. So he wanted more clarification on that for obvious reasons. And his higher self explained that it was actually, it was the product of his own belief system, but it was also, he wasn't seeing the full picture, that it was more that he was rising from and not getting into what he was seeing in those visions. It's just that he was so stuck on the demonic whatever he was seeing. So I did ask, because this is another case where people perceived a lot of darkness had perceived a lot of darkness around another client I had, and people who were sensitives, and they were like, oh, no, stay away from this person. There's a lot of bad juju, and their guides are like saying the same thing. And the fact of the matter is that person was actually like a light being incarnate. And it's just because there is this energetic just amplification on both sides, where light is getting lighter, darkness is, they're getting stronger, that there is a lot of darkness that's attracted to those who hold more light.
Yeah.
And it's not, but it's because of the shift. And I don't know how it works, and it wasn't clear. And I asked in the session too, that I was like, why is this happening? And they said it's part of the balance of the universe, the yin yang. There will always be darkness when there's light, and vice versa. But they said that we're going through a shift where these lower density energies are actually, and I don't know how it works, on the verge of going into non-existence.
Yeah.
So there is a rise in terms of those who are more susceptible to that energies are getting affected.
Yeah. They keep showing me circles of it, that it's like it's cyclical, and as we get brighter and start to turn that off, then they're kind of trying to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, James says Debbie sent me. Thank you, James. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie Freebird was on a minute ago, and I was watching her until the last minute till I saw you pop on.
Oh.
We love her. She's amazing. Yeah. So I do feel like that darkness has been around for a while, and I've seen the Debbie sent all of us. Lisa, thank you. I love that. Aw. So but I've seen dragons in there cleaning things out, and at first I wasn't sure what the dragons were doing there, but then I realized that they're just kind of moving the energy out and moving the smoke out, which is how I usually see that darkness, as a charcoal smoke. It's not black, it's just charcoal. But coming out and moving out. Oh yeah, Sherry Z says, I heard that some energies will not be able to live here on Earth any longer because we will be vibrating too high for them to stay. Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was told.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's non-existence or it's just, I really don't know where they're going to go exactly, but yeah. It just means protection is very, like we were talking about before, is essential. And it's important to actually be aware, like you said, because it's just because you don't pay attention to it doesn't mean you're not going to be presented with it in some form or another.
Right. And there's all sorts of new energies that are emerging right now because we're going through such an exciting time in our existence that we have galactic beings from all over, not just our universe, but universes of universes
Hmm.
coming in to watch and to help. And also on our planet, like the giants are awakening. Easter Island, everybody's hearing that big, deep thumping, that
Hmm.
primal um, vibration that's coming in, and people are talking about it. I mean, it's really interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew
I
about that prime. You brought that up before, but I didn't know that actually is it actual. You can hear it.
um, People are sensing it.
I see. Okay.
So there are other readers that are sensing it. I'm not the only one, and there are other readers that are seeing that charcoal smoke too. And I'm just finding that out. I'm like, okay, is that just something that I'm getting? And but other readers are hearing it. So I think Nancy Jean and
Yeah.
Nancy Jean mentioned it
Huh.
too. Yeah, it is all where we intend to put our focus. Also, while this is happening, there are like my um, area where I live in the Midwest. There were a lot of wars here during the Civil War, and it has an an interesting energy, and all of a sudden I started getting in like a really different energy, just hanging really low in the house. And I had to go into it with a friend of mine that's a shaman. And I realized that it's just an ancestral energy,
Mm.
kind of like energy of the earth, but very primal again.
Hmm.
And it's a different energy. And she's all about being protective of the planet and protective of the area. But
Hmm.
it's like she's rising
Hmm.
as Gaia rises.
Hmm. Yeah, I do know that this is the cleansing time and the decluttering time, and I've been talking to a lot of people that are going through unknowingly, cleaning out their houses and making things lighter, and I think it's just a reflection of the spiritual movement, and also Gaia is like this is the purge of old energies, what we no longer need. Um, the supermoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all intersecting, at least for today.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Lots of dragons. I've been seeing them for a couple of years, Miss Mims, but a lot more lately, and there's other readers that are talking about it too. A lot of people here in the chat. I mean, people all over.
I was just talking to someone during a session today with about dragons too. It is definitely. Um, I think there's some mediums who say that it's rare to have one as a guide, but I think it's also I think we all have kind of a dragon energy that's always with us too that we can tap into. Um,
Yeah, I feel that way too. I feel like we all have elementals all around us, right? Just like our guides, our spirit animals, and then the animals that are with us in this lifetime and previous lifetimes. And I feel like they come in and they're like in all different forms. But I've been feeling a lot of dragons and whales.
hmm,
So I don't know if anybody else here has or not, but
hmm.
yeah. Oh, an old and ancient medicine that held Archangel Michael's energy. Interesting. Annie Bear, I like that. Huh. Hypnicity says she hears motors humming underground. My heat pump is broken, so it's not from that. I love it. I love it. So, what do we want to talk about with that? Do we want to talk about protection, or what do we want to talk about? Um,
I
you
don't
know,
know. I don't. I've never really addressed it before. So I think from just the awareness standpoint, and also else, I think the protection is the, at least with my most recent experience, it is important. More so now during this particular time than I think ever, just because I think we're more aware of it when it
Yeah.
comes to others who may be more in alignment with those energies, but it's just simply turning your head to darkness. It doesn't mean that it's not there, and it's not going to some way cross your path in one way or another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And recognizing like what it's all about. Like, is it truly darkness, or is it just an unusual form of energy that we haven't been exposed to before?
Yeah.
So we call in, like, I call in 33 trillion angels in
Mm.
the mornings, like walls of angels around us when we meditate, and deities. But there's a lot of different ways that people do protection. I know putting an open Bhagavad Gita in your house is very protective. And I would think that putting an open Bible, or
Mm.
any type of uh, healing book that you're interested in that helps. Um, oh, next year is the year of the dragon in Chinese zodiac, so that's not far away. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, 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 right? Yeah,
There's no
and
such thing as accidents.
there you have it. There you have it. Hypnicity says something interesting. She says, I think Mother Earth is reminding us she's alive. We need to realize that she doesn't need us, but she would love us to care more about her.
Hmm.
Yeah, Hypnicity, 100%. Gaia is completely alive, and she is, she's thrown humans off the earth before when they misbehaved. So, so I think that this is our chance to, like with Lemuria and Atlantis,
Mhm.
when we not misbehaved, but we didn't learn the right lesson, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all divine, even if we make a mistake. But then that gets everything rolling, and right now everybody's just pushing for that light. I think that's why we have so many galactics here that are helping us.
Yeah. I know that it's I mean, it was Gaia, but there was also other forces at play in terms of the reboot.
Yeah.
Earth for each age. I mean, Atlantis and then the Ice Age and everything else were all reset and reboots. So I do know that this time they don't want to do that again. Collective Gaia included. That's not the direction they want to go again. And we have been kind of living out a timeline that's very similar to Atlantis and Lemuria, including COVID. In Atlantis, there was a mystery virus that was killing thousands upon thousands of people, that they found a vaccine. Well, there's a lot of history to that, but it's no coincidence a lot of us have had lifetimes and we're kind of going through the same process. But I've been told that instead of going the direction that Atlantis went, and Lemuria kind of was kind of a, I don't know what you call that, kind of went with the ship in a way.
Yeah.
We're going in a different direction, even though it doesn't seem like on the surface. I've been told we've been moving forward with compassion, which was lacking back then, and they don't want to do a reset. So just us being here right now is actually a gift in a sense, to be experiencing this. And um, I know it's been a billion years in the making. Um, so it's a very important time.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like it. It feels like, everybody talks about how this was a call to arms or not to arms, but to light
Hmm.
for all the light workers to come.
Hmm.
And I feel like a lot of us haven't been back here since Lemurian
There
Atlantic.
haven't been. I've only been here a couple times, so
See? Yeah. I
yeah.
get that. Yeah. Yeah. So are you finding that with a lot of your readings too, with your past life readings, that a lot of people coming in?
It's I mean, it's a lot of us, even with with readings and clients. I do get the pings of Lemuria or Atlantis, and I mean, earlier today, the conversation with about the dragon, that same person was, she had kind of some inklings about that she was there during that time, but not how. And then it just came in kind of full force of how that experience actually is shaping how she's perceiving herself now and trusting herself and everything else. So um, a lot of us here are here to release that trauma as kind of the big event. So there are a lot of people here who came back and didn't necessarily want to, but it's for the higher good and it's for the collective universe. It's not just about Gaia and not just about humanity. It's about everything else too.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, isn't it? And I feel like our planet is a very valuable planet. I mean, Gaia is, and I feel like she's like a moving on to that creator level, like we all are. But she's like just so rich too. She has so much to offer, and it's a really special place where we're at here.
Hmm.
I mean, even in the future, even more so,
Hmm.
has so much to offer all around the universes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's beautiful. Everybody's talking about it. Annie Bear says she'd serve Mother in whatever shape she requires for as long as she needs. Um,
I mean, I will say that that earlier comment about Gaia does kind of need us at this time, for
yeah,
healing and growth. So I don't think
yeah,
we're not completely insects.
yeah,
Because the healing, the joy, the laughter, living in the moment, all that, pursuing our passions and not getting caught up in stress and worry and fear, those are all energies that are healing for us, but also it's the energy that heals Gaia as well. So if it's kind of important for us to laugh a little bit during this time too.
yeah, yeah. And we were talking about that today also. I feel like we need to really be gentle with ourselves right now. Like, because there is so much energy going on and such a shift going on that abiding in our heart space and abiding in our solar plexus and recognizing where we are and what we're doing, how important we are. Debbie was just talking about that.
Hmm.
Oh, Kay says mirth and reverence. Yeah. Joy and wonder, right? Same. Yeah.
Yeah, the bringing the magic back and connecting with your inner child, even if you didn't have a childhood, it's important to be doing that now, just because it's reawakening that wonder that's so important. Wonder's been something that's followed me around a lot in different ways, so it's always interesting when that kind of comes up.
I can feel that from you, Jason. That wonder.
Even in other career lifetimes, there was always this discussions about wonder always come up.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, we're gonna get to some questions in a minute. We were just kind of discussing this because we thought it was cool. So,
Yeah, the
um,
protection is important now. And,
yeah, yeah. There's lots. I think it's these things start happening. Just knowing that we're walking tall and walking strong. Also, Archangel Azrael and Michael and Metatron. I mean, any archangel you want, they're all great, but particularly Azrael to help with transformations. And, he works with bringing souls back
mhm,
to the light. They used to call him the angel of death sometimes, but he's really the angel of light.
mhm,
And um, I used to live near a hospital and my mom was dying. So it was kind of a traumatic time. And, trauma and spiritual growth seemed to happen together.
mhm.
And anyway, but all these souls started coming in my room when they were leaving the hospital. And so I was calling in the angels to take them away. And Jesus, I didn't know about Azrael there, but I'm sure it was him.
Hmm.
But and they just go right away.
Hmm.
Some of them weren't interested in it, and I'd say, "Well, that's okay, but you can't stay here." So
Sometimes they have the blinders on, and it's
yeah, right.
it's just disconnecting. It's important.
So, what do you do for protection, Jason?
I have crystals. Honestly, I haven't done as protective work as I should, and it I think that was in itself kind of a lesson in terms of what has transpired recently. So I do know one practice is imagining the white pyramid of light that can surround the body, which is actually part of QHHD hypnosis. Is just imagining that sparkling, shimmering light that you can even imagine around other people or your home or, I don't know, your dog or whatever you need to do. But yeah, it's something I think I know that at least a recent lesson has taught me that I should take that a little bit more seriously.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
I'm so cryptic about this.
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. It is like we don't want to stoke fear or anything because
Yeah,
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 it's like Rumi says, darkness is the hole the light comes through.
yeah.
So
True.
yeah, it's a movement.
Yes.
So Lori fills the whales. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, what would you like to do, kind sir?
I'm
Jason?
open.
Yeah, you want to answer some questions, or you want
Sure.
to? Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
open to whatever.
Okay. And we can just Lakia, may I get a reading? Hey, can I get a reading? I like that better. Hey, can I get a reading? Hey, yeah. Lakia, they're showing me a tulip. So I drew it out rather rudimentarily right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Oh, this thing doesn't show up very well. Anyway, but a tulip is often a flower that they say that you have this path that you're on and you think you're going to get roses, and the universe gives you tulips, and it's a different path, but it's a beautiful path. So you might be at a crossroads if you haven't already been there. So they're showing me that new path, but it's still a beautiful path. But some big change coming, or it has already come. Um, and they're saying you've made the most of it, or you're making the most of it. Um, and then they're talking about studying. So I get this beautiful card about studying, and and studying, and this bust is in the clouds, right? And it's full spectrum. So I think it's studying the universe. Um, so whatever that would mean to you, if it's infinite potential, or if it's universal laws and truths, or studying about your soul, but something about studying.
Hmm. I think this came up the last time that I was with you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the Earth Star activation, which is about anchoring, grounding, Isis energy, um, going along with Gaia. Earth Star is also one of the chakra that's below our feet, that's actually in the earth. So it's not always acknowledged, but it's that chakra that attaches us to the earth and that connection. So if anything, this is a time to really spend time in nature, spend more, and just visualize yourself actually kind of just tapping into below the earth as a form of grounding. It's also a symbol for this is a time to reflect and do inner work, and it's not a time to like move forward and do like study might be one of those things. Like this is a time to really grow within yourself, and I guess I'm kind of seeing tree energy, like planting your roots, building foundation, and kind of letting yourself blossom, or whatever trees do. Trees don't blossom. Well, I guess they can.
Some do.
Yeah. It's just this is you time, I guess is the best way to put it. And the Sky Father.
Oh, cool.
So trusting in the unknown. So I think this is all about you're expecting the rose and you get a tulip, or you're expecting the rose, you get a blossoming tree. But just trusting it's what you need at this particular time. So.
Hmm.
And it's come through recently. The unknown, being in the unknown, is where we truly experience life force energy, life force energy. That feeling of nervousness that we get is actually life force energy, and we see it as a negative thing, and it's actually what kind of one of the energies that makes the universe be put in motion. So I thought that was kind of a very new way to look at things.
I love that. That's so interesting. That changes a lot of things.
It does. Because we automatically, when I'm nervous, we're like, oh no, I can't do this, I'm nervous. But that's actually, we're building this energy that's this creative life force within us and opening yourselves up to potential.
Wow. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Would you like to pick one, Jason?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Um, I guess there's a question, Spirit Watcher Suzanne. Does it mean that these people with dark energy will leave the planet, or just the dark energy?
Oh, that was a really good question. Is that oh, found it. Okay.
that's one of those foggy. I feel like there's this wall of fog that's purely, it's intentional because we're supposed to be focusing on the now.
Yeah.
And even some information I've received in terms of how things are going to play out, when we're fully becoming aware that there are going to be different pathways for different people that we've already decided prior to our getting here, and it is coming very soon. I do know one aspect is I don't think I almost want to say that the dark energies, it's going to stay here, but it's going to be in a different, there's like a new earth vibration that's going to be on the earth, and those who are in that different vibration and vice versa are not going to be aware of each other. So I don't think that it's a matter of leading. It's just a matter of, it's just going to be a different way of being. And there's nothing wrong. It's not good or bad. I've been told it's like, that's just what is. There is another planet that's physical that has been in process for a long time, and supposedly there's going to be some light workers or those who are predetermined to go, that somehow they're getting there. I've had visions about it. I've asked about it, and it's cryptic. They say you'll know what to do when the time comes. So it's still fuzzy for me. So that's what I know, or what I've felt. So
I'm feeling something really similar, that the dimension shift, like it's like the time frames are already kind of colliding a little bit.
yeah.
And a lot of us are having, like two different timelines. Sherry, see, kind of like that is what I'm seeing. And the planets ascending, and it's like they'll be going on at the same time. Nobody's bad. Nobody's judged. I mean, we're all, children of the universe. We're all energy beings. Love is our basic energy. And that's going to continue, and it'll continue with some having a different timeline, but also a different experience. And then others will have this other experience. And you just said that, didn't you?
Yeah. It's confused. I mean, it's getting a little bit clearer in terms of the information I've been getting, but it's still, and I think it's just, we're not supposed to totally understand or know, because then that would be like, for some people, be like, haha, you're staying on the lower of earth, or I think it's just there's a reason.
Like a twin, Sonia says.
Yeah,
I agree.
and I know the other aspect is it has been acknowledged, like, people with a lower vibrational frequency, and I always stress lower and higher is not a matter of better or worse. I've been told that many times. So lower vibration, when they move to the spirit side and come back, or choose to do another lesson, it will be in another part of the galaxy or universe that will be more designed for that way of life. Again, cryptic, but
that's what I've gotten too, that it'll be as Gaia's already ascended, basically. I mean, we're hanging on to her, I feel like, but she's already there. But things on the planet are getting there. But we're like, the ones that are left here will be in different dimensions somehow.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, because I feel like a lot of us just sitting in our houses, sharing our light and our love, it changes the world. I mean, we don't all have to be out there doing something, do we?
Yeah. and we've already decided. So it's like I've been told it will be like a switch is turned on, and then you'll be like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm going, well, there will be this knowing that will be unquestionable, and we'll know that that's what we're supposed to be doing. There are people who are light workers who are here that chose before they came here to stay with the lower vibrational frequency as kind of a beacon of light. So just because you're a higher vibration doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go in one place or another. There's a little bit of overlap.
Yeah. I had a vision not long ago that I had passed on, that I died. And it was really interesting. It was a beautiful ceremony, and I was really, really old, and the earth had changed. And I was in this beautiful kind of park. It was a meadow with all sorts of wildfire flowers. And this is where people went to consciously leave their body
Mm.
as a light being. I mean, it was a really beautiful thing. And I remember laying there and thinking, yep, didn't need to worry about a thing. It's all going to work out. That's what was in my head.
Yeah.
It works out beautifully.
Yeah. I recently, and it's always funny, the answers, because it's like I always expect some big profound thing. And I've asked very recently in terms of, with everything that's going on, the shift and everything being so crazy right now, and energy's being all over the place, and at least I know a couple of people who are waking up at 3 a.m. wide awake and not understanding why. What is there anything that we need to be doing or paying attention to or anything else? And the answer was, all you need to worry about is just being. So
Yeah, we're exactly where we need to be.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Somebody asked if that's why there are portals. I can't remember if that was Sonia or who, but portals are here for so many different reasons. I mean, they are of great use to us and galactics, and they're fun to go on a trip in, I gotta say. So when you're meditating or dreaming, take a portal. They're a blast.
I know that some are not made for humans, so if you come across one, don't.
Oh yeah, there is that.
Well, I know that from one of Dolores's books, because
really?
they were talking about how this lady was driving at night and she saw like what appeared to be like this window of going across the road in the middle of the night as they're driving, and she was like, what is this? And then it ended up, and this was a regression, because she lost time, and it was because she had seen this portal being moved, and it was actually ETs who were moving it because people were actually accidentally getting in contact with it, and it caused health problems. So they were moving it somewhere else, and she witnessed it, and she wasn't supposed to. So driving late at night and you see a little window, don't follow it.
Right? Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Mueller, it's my birthday in 3 days. What can I look forward to this year? Sean, happy birthday. Um, Sean, I keep seeing this blue light around you. So there's and go ahead and oh, you're welcome, Sean. And go ahead and chime in if you want to. Um, or it's helpful actually. But there's this blue light. I don't know if this is Palladian energy, if you're working with your third eye. Um, and it's also they're telling me the Divine Mother, Mother Mary, coming in. Um, that's how she's that's how she's appearing to me with the veil of serenity. So I don't know if something's been going on in your life or you're just a very calm person, but they're showing me this beautiful veil of serenity that's coming to you. Um, and also that blue, is visualizing, right? Because that has a lot to do with your third eye. So the lapis, when that comes in. So I think seeing things clearly is what I'm seeing with this, and being able to see that what's going on in your life, and being able to see who you really are, your authentic self.
So sometimes I actually do writing. So sometimes things I write down, I have no idea why I wrote down Gargonzola. I don't know if that means anything to you. Next year will be all about cheese. But I don't. I have no idea what that's about. Could be. I guess the more or less like the sun energy is what I wrote, which is all about it's a year of like abundance and step and manifestation and stepping into that, and it will be a really like kind of pivotal time for you to go after new opportunities and have kind of, it's almost like a restart reboot, to kind of be harken back to the earth, but it's a time of like regeneration and the clarity and the serenity like Terry was talking about, but also it's opening yourself up for like being successful. I don't think it's material, it's more abundance and successful in terms of just your life path and feeling acknowledged and seen, and as though you're stepping into who you are as a person. So that's kind of what I got. Blue moon, blue cheese.
Do you know, I wrote that down too, blue moon energy, blue energy. And I wrote manifesting down. I didn't read it after I wrote it. I
Huh.
do that too. That's
Yeah.
oh, Kevin says too pungent. Stinky cheese, right?
I like Gargonzola.
I
But
do too. I like stinky cheese. I didn't when I was a kid. My mom
yeah,
did. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And herring. All right, your turn, my friend. Thank you, Sean.
I always get food things like cherries, and it just makes no sense to me. And then something happens where it makes sense. Let's see. Sonia, may I have a message from the Ascended Masters for September?
Okay. Interesting. So, Sonia, first thing they did was have me draw a star, and they put your face on it, a little head, and angel wings behind you. And then they said, "You're a star child." And they said to fly, to dance in stardust. And also, with the star, they're telling me it's also protection. So, this is something important, I think, for all of us to recognize that if you feel like you need protection, to kind of raise your star energy because you're all star children. Um, and and this is going to help you with protection.
Interesting. I the first thing I wrote down is have no fear, you are protected. So acknowledging that. As we move forward, it's really important for us all to be that way. So we might come across things that might set us out of our comfort zone, but just acknowledging that that's our life force energy and not something. So just that acknowledgement. I wrote down dragonfly, which is usually transformation, flight, like Terry was talking about. Also, there's a magic quality, but it's also, I heard, be willing to look through illusions. So I think it's trusting your inner voice, trusting yourself. And I heard trip, travel, trust. So I don't know if you will be going on a trip. So maybe it's a good time for you to do that. And it's not just about giving your permission to have some fun, but it's also, there is a light about you that's important for the earth at this time. So where you travel, that light goes. So that's what I got about that. And then forgiveness. We're in a time right now where forgiveness is essential. It's crucial. Forgiveness is love. Love is forgiveness. But it's also not forgiveness just for others, but forgiving yourself. So I think that's also what I'm kind of being pointed to. I've also heard the astral travel aspect is important. So the travel is not just about physical, but I don't know if you practice that, but maybe that's something that you should dip into with your dragonfly.
I got a big heart opening when you were talking about forgiveness with that. I think that's huge. I think for all of us right now,
Yeah.
Forgiving our inner child for things that happened when we didn't have the voice to say no, or the voice to, no matter if we were 35, right? Just we're kind of still like kids, and knowing that we don't always have the coping skills for what's going on to say, I don't like that. I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to be a part of this relationship, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that forgiveness of ourselves is huge.
Yeah. And it's especially for people who you had to grow up really fast when you're a child and you didn't really get an opportunity, which I think is actually less common than we realize, but
100%.
it's almost like that's kind of a fantasy in some aspects, that the children that have not really had the opportunity for various reasons. And so we kind of owe it to our child selves to make up for lost time in terms of get a coloring book, have some fun, run through the forest. It may feel weird, but we owe it to that child that didn't get to. So that's part of the forgiveness too, is having a relationship with your inner child, and not, oh, that poor inner child, like the pity aspect. It's
right.
Like really communing with and building that relationship. Like, what can I do for you, since you did a lot for me?
Yeah, it changes the whole thing, doesn't it? The whole vibration of it. When you see someone, instead of, oh, poor you,
Yeah.
you say, you're amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, just blows you over with different energy.
Yeah, especially if you think about children, and it's like they have all the knowledge. It leaves at various rates, but that wonder, the magic, the curiosity, everything is the foundation of spirit and where we come from. And it's when it's lost, it's like if we, when we come back around and realize that magic is actually real and it's still there.
Yeah.
Just re-acknowledging that with ourselves, like the world isn't as sad and devoid of fairies and leprechauns and unicorns and rainbows as we thought.
Dragons, right?
Oh my.
Right. Thanks, Kevin. Right. Don't forget to charge your cards and crystals in the full moon tonight. A public service announcement. Kevin's Living Vibrations.
9 out of 10 mediums agree.
Right. Have to believe in magic, Julie. Amen. Amen. Okay. Let's get in another one. Did we do Marby already? I don't think we did we? Can I have a past life reading, please? Do you want to do that, or is that something that you can do with this many readings? Is that too difficult?
Yeah, at least for me, it takes being in conversation a bit, and then I started tapping into that. So I wish I could do that type of thing, but I probably could do that type of thing, but it takes practice.
Thomas, do my guides have a message for me? I've been experiencing cold chills even in my hot garage. Are they trying to tell me something? Thomas, they're showing me a path, and it's kind of a windy path of your lifetime, but it's also of the flow of energy. And somewhere along that, they're saying, open the pipes, let it flow. So it's like not that you were closed off, but that you're on this journey and you might have been going around and around a little bit. And they're saying that things are going to open up. And then they're showing me, buckle up, Thomas, because they're showing me this crystalline energy that comes through. And it comes through this new energy as it comes in, everybody. It comes in not at the speed of light, but the speed of love, which is so much faster and so much brighter. So that clammy feeling, I've been feeling it too. And I know a lot of people here have been. So I think it's an ascension path. And I think that as you're doing little things, just real quick, do the color of the rainbow in your chakras and just open up everything and see if that doesn't help a little bit.
I like the speed of love. I might have to borrow that.
Sold.
I was getting this is about vulnerability and protection. And so I think and I also wrote down grief. So I'm not sure if you've lost someone, but this grief can also be the loss of self, like going through a dramatic change can also
Mhm.
there's a grieving process involved. Ultimately, from the spiritual perspective, we're not supposed to grieve for things because we're infinite, and or people, including people, because we'll see them again at some point. So it's always the acknowledgement that everything's a cycle. So I almost wonder if that's kind of the plugged types in a way, like
Yeah.
just letting it flow and moving through. And also, I don't know, it might be you don't like being vulnerable, but there is a way in which you need to be in order to move forward. And you're trying to protect yourself too much, and so it's leaving you in the cold. And that's what I just heard. So just acknowledging emotion and potential, and that everything is a process, and it is going to be, if you open yourself up to it, then maybe you'll warm up a little bit through the speed of love.
Yeah, it's like a gusher. So buckle up, people.
Put on your raincoat.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a
That
pleasure.
Yeah, it was a joy. It was a joy.
Yeah.
So, and thank you everybody for being here, and all you wonderful moderators. Sharon Seif is here. Many moderators tonight. And if you haven't already subscribed to Jason and you're on my channel, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't already subscribed to me and you're on Jason's channel, please like and subscribe.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being back. And
yeah, it was a real joy.
Yeah. And everyone protect yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And buckle up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Namaste. Our light sees your light.